Anxiety makes me poop. How's everybody doing? Hey, I just ran a social media experiment on TikTok, and I want to talk about this because this was very, very interesting to me, and I think maybe you'll find it interesting. So I do not have a TikTok. I only have 39 friends on there. I have less than 100 followers, and I maybe follow a handful of people. So it's not a new TikTok. It's just I don't use TikTok. But I thought, I'm just going to see how people are this Sunday afternoon. So what did I do? I posted a video of a paper plate that my husband rinsed or washed, whatever, and put in the dryer, like the dish dryer that's by our sink. And I said, does anyone in your house wash paper plates or rinse paper plates? I didn't really give any more context. I think at the end of the video, I said something like, maybe he'll use it again or something like that. But we are getting into summer here in the Midwest. We have to have everything clean when we put it in the recycle bin. Okay. There are raccoons, possums, chipmunks, like there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's ants, there's bugs, there's bees. So we are a very clean house. With that being said, he rinses off anything sticky like barbecue sauce or anything on a plate, and he dries it, and then we recycle it. Okay. So that's the background. I didn't share all the details in the video on TikTok. All I did, and I want you to picture this because I did go public with it because I wanted to get about 20 or 25 comments, which people did not disappoint. And then I went back to private because it's just such a small account. Like I basically just use it to scroll sometimes, and I'm rarely on it. But anyways, so the video is me videoing to the sink, showing the paper plate, and then just looking out the window. That's all it is. And I ask, does anyone in your house wash paper plates? Or I said something like, my husband does, something like that. Okay. That's it. Like, no more details. And then I just let it go. And within an hour, I had, 30 comments. And I wrote everybody back. I said, great point. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. But I did it on purpose because I wanted to see what people would say. And now you get to hear how angry people are on a Sunday afternoon. Are you ready? Let me grab my phone. One sec. Okay, first, it's actually my husband's niece. And so she knows us. And she said, plastic silverware too, which is very funny. We laughed about that. The next one was another friend that said, dang girl, I can barely get my hubby to wash a real dish. You have a keeper. So true, right? Okay, so the friends that know us are the fun ones, okay? Another one by my friend Faith says, nope, I do not. I had a grandmother who did as well as like Ziploc bags, plastic forks, and so on and so on. She would save paper towels even after drying her hands. So that is like a true, this bothers me because of this. And so I totally get it. Of course, Cass wrote back and said, WTF, but she knows Steve and she'll give him a hard time the next time she sees him. And then here we go. You ready? So one person said, that defeats the purpose of paper plates. My question is, what purpose? Like he used it, he rinsed it, he's going to toss it, but she doesn't know all that information. And she got a lot of likes for that, which I get. I'm not trying to say that, and I just wrote back maybe like, I guess it defeats the purpose of the paper plate, but he used the paper plate. And then he rinsed it, and then he's going to go recycle it. So what, another one said, nah, girl, which is super funny to me. I just wrote back LOL because they just don't do that in their house. Another one is just use a regular plate if you're going to wash something and stop making unnecessary trash. Oh, that's a pretty good point, right? But still, it seems like she was a little bit like maybe upset about it. I'm not sure. You'd never want to put emotion to text. So another one said, definitely not. People usually buy paper plates to throw away so they don't have to wash the dishes. That's a grew up poor indicator. No offense to him if he grew up poor, but yeah. And so immediately this person thinks that she knows us, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I actually wrote interesting perspective there. Like someone that washes a paper plate to reuse it. Grew up poor. Okay. Someone did say, yes, why not? Like, why not rinse it and dry it? I said, exactly. But, just thought I'd ask around. And then someone writes, because use a real plate and don't look like a weirdo. Okay. Yeah. All right. And I just wrote back, this social experiment is so fun. Okay, here's another one. I would be concerned about bacteria and getting sick from doing that. Paper plates are single use, not the same as washing plastic silverware or a baggie and reusing those, just assuming that everything's cleaned properly. Hey, great point. Great point. Love it. There's quite a few great points, right? Someone writes, my 89-year-old mother does that. She's the only one in the house who uses them. I said, why not just use regular plates like everybody else? And she said, because they're too heavy. Okay. Another one. I said, oh gosh, I can see that too. Like, I'm very curious what people are going to say by looking at one simple video. And again, I have no followers, like under 100. So these are people that don't follow me. Like somehow I got on their algorithm, maybe because more people started commenting, right? Another one puts ... So I want to emphasize that because you can't see the comment, but I want you to know that he put ... Like, and furthermore, right? He said, why doesn't he just go, and he spelled use wrong. So he says, why doesn't he just go use the ceramic at this point? The whole purpose is to not have to wash. If he's doing it anyway, might as well use a quality plate, which to I wrote back, he does. He uses a quality plate. He uses both. Another one says, if I use paper plates, it is to avoid washing dishes. If you're going to wash it, just use a real plate. And I said he uses both. But that's another great point, right? How about another one? I don't even know what something life. Scythe life? I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm aging myself because I don't know what that means. But I only use uncoated paper plates so that they can go into the compost bin. Perfect. I guess our plate was coated maybe. And then the last one, and before I put it on private because it was too much for me, said, usually otherwise there are flies around the recycle bin. I said, you get it. There's a couple other ones that were actually filtered out because they used the words, I don't like to see the words idiot, dumb, stupid, and all the swear words. I usually, just on my page, I don't really like to see it. So a lot of them got filtered out, but you can imagine what some of the things were, commented. Okay. So very interesting social experiment and how, if you just read them without emotion, people are like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Or they're questioning, right? But some people, and I'm going to, again, filter it, not to trigger anyone that gets mad at these kind of things, but let me tell you that people were angry, like personally offended that I put this video out. Like basically my husband walked into their home and disrespected their family with a wet paper plate. I mean, it got pretty good. And I was like, okay, and then it got to the point where I was like getting a little anxiety about it because it was out there. And I'm like, no, this can't go viral. I'm just going to go back to private. So, some of the comments were like, what is the point? If you're going to wash it, use a real plate. That makes no sense. You're an idiot. This is stupid. That's the shittiest thing I've ever seen. Like it just kept going on. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry that you're angry about a paper plate. Can we remind everybody of that? You were triggered by a paper plate being rinsed off with no other context. Again, I mean, that's cool. I just kind of wanted to see what everybody was doing. And then I was thinking like, we're not really okay, are we? That we're angry about a paper plate. I want to talk about that a little bit. Okay. You knew I had a whole point to this. First, there is something called negativity bias, which basically means our brains are wired to notice what feels wrong way more than what feels normal. Could that have been it? Maybe. And I'm not saying anything bad about anyone that commented. It is free speech. You do what you want. I put it out on, public because I wanted to do this experiment. Okay. I just wanted to see what, how people were feeling. Okay. So this is just all I'm doing. If you haven't shut this episode off yet, all I'm doing is sharing a learning experience today. Okay. So here's another thing, another feeling. It's called cognitive dissonance. And it is an uncomfortable feeling when something doesn't line up with your brain. Because in most of the people's minds, there was a handful of them that would, obviously knew it was funny. Some were friends, whatever. But in some of the people's minds that had no idea who I was or probably didn't even read the text with it, paper plates equals disposable and washing is reusable. And that doesn't match, right? That's like a crisscross. So when those two things collide, people's brains go, absolutely not. This is not reality. I'm rejecting this, okay? Or instead of going, maybe there's context that I don't have, they basically just go, yeah, now I'm totally mad now. Who washes a paper plate? And again, this is all about a paper plate. If you haven't listened to it yet, go back to my episode about pancakes. That's funny too. Okay, this brings me to my favorite part, okay? Moral outrage. Moral outrage, okay? People love being right on the internet like it's a sport. Like they're professional players here. So now it's just about a paper plate and a statement. Like you're wasteful, you're dumb, you're doing life wrong, right? So it's not just about this paper plate. It's about how you're an idiot. Or why would you do that? Because again, everything's crisscrossed. A paper plate should be thrown out, not washed. A regular plate gets washed and reused. Suddenly everyone's auditioning to be the CEO of the proper plate usage, right? Everyone is the professional. Everyone knows. We have the fundamental attribution error in this world, which is a fancy way of saying people see a 5-second clip, which it was definitely less than 15 seconds, and decide who you are as a person. Not maybe they'll recycle, or maybe there's a reason, just these people are unhinged. They're crazy. And here's the part that I actually care about and the reason why I did all this. Why do little things make people this upset? I mean, I'm talking swear words, exclamation marks, ... They're stressed about it. They're anxious about it. They're overstimulated about something that is crisscrossing in their brain. So when something feels off to them, it becomes the final straw. I mean, can you imagine if I added like religion and government into it? You know, saying that, it was a religious thing or a government thing that we washed a paper plate. Oh, forget about it. I'd be viral. I'd be able to quit my job by tomorrow because I'd be getting paid by TikTok. You know what I'm saying? And now a rinsed paper plate this is what is wrong with society. Someone went and said, this guy washes his paper plates and reuses them. I mean, someone's angry about it right now. That's a lot of pressure on a paper plate. That's a lot of pressure to get people angry, right? And if you're someone who posts online and you get comments like this, okay, again, most of them were fine. They were whatever. The ones that I'm filtering are the ones that were really nasty, and I don't want to bring up too much anxiety on Anxiety Makes Me Poop podcast. But if you are someone that posts online, or maybe you ask a question in a public forum, or you publish things publicly, it can really mess with your head if you allow it to. So for me, I allowed the video to be up for 1 hour. And I kept checking my phone, writing people back, like, oh, great point. Yep, I get it. Filtering through the bad words, reading them though. And it started to cause this, I was just like a little uneasy and chest tightening. Like, this is out there. People are mad about it. And I started thinking, wow, that was such a wrong video, or this is going viral because of the negativity, or why are people so upset? Or maybe I should take it down now. Like, I didn't even want to wait the hour. So I can't imagine someone that posts publicly, and the reason why, now, obviously I'm not on TikTok, but there are some people on TikTok that are very, very popular, right? They have millions and millions of followers. And that they read through some of that stuff, and some of the comments are not nice at all. Again, I only posted about a paper plate. These people, their entire lives sometimes are on socials, so I can't even imagine sometimes how, not to say that I know how they feel, but I just can't imagine some of the things that they would have to read or watch people argue, because there were some arguments in there too on this paper plate. There was someone that was commenting below other people that were saying, oh, no, I get it, because then we don't have bugs when we recycle. And then the person said, yeah, but you still just look like an idiot. And, it just kept going on and on. Here's the thing. I didn't have to post the video, but I did kind of poke at people's internal chaos, and for a reason, right? They handed it right back to me in the comments. And I just want to share my takeaway on it. For those that post, and for those that get the comments, and for those that might see a lot of negativity, if a rinsed paper plate ruins someone's day, it's not about the paper plate. If you ask a question in a public forum and people are going to be the experts and tell you what you should be doing without actually answering your question, it's not about your question. The healthiest thing that you could do is log off, which is what I did, but I did it for an experiment. I timed myself for an hour and then I was done. I'm back to private. Those that want to be my friend on there, cool. Like they'll still see it. Maybe they'll comment and laugh. They know my husband. It's all in fun and games, okay? If it bothers you, if you get anxiety, if you get a headache, if you feel like you cannot put your phone down because you need to be able to write back to someone that might be commenting on something that you posted, maybe it's time to log off. Maybe it's time not to be so open to those that may not know you. Maybe it's time to think of yourself first and not worry about what strangers on the internet are going to comment or say to you. So, this is just like a perfect example. And, fortunately, unfortunately, there were some comments about my husband, about him being an idiot or about him doing something stupid. So it is kind of personal for me. But I knew, again, that I was only doing it so that I could talk about it and see exactly where this world is. Now, again, if I kept it going, maybe there would have been 50-50, but the way that it was going was about 90% of it was going to be people were going to be upset about it. So again, I apologize that I, may have upset a few people about a paper plate, but thank you, because this was a amazing social media experiment for me. So if you're feeling tense, if things bother you, if you have to keep looking at your phone, if you're in, even on your own personal Facebook page, if you ask a question or you mention something and people are back at you, log off. Don't worry about looking. Or you know what? Delete the post or just make it private so that you know that it's your memory and that you needed to see it. But other than that, don't allow others to ruin your day just because you were asking a question or because you wanted to post a picture, right? You wanted to share something. You know what? This reminds me of one other thing, and it goes along with this. I'm in a group. My daughter was born with trachea esophageal fistula, esophageal atresia. Look it up if you want. It's TEFEA. She was born without an esophagus at 15 hours old. Her surgeon fixed her, and she's been wonderful, But I am in a parent group to help others because my daughter's going to be 26. So we've had 26 years of this TEFEA and know all about it. And it's our life. So, it's her life, I should say. And I speak to it sometimes to help parents on what we went through those first few years and such. But even in that group that is private, and it's all parents and children and people that have gone through a surgery like this, or it's the same thing. It's the tracheoesophageal fistula group. People are mean. It wasn't like that before. And when I say mean, I'm going to explain it. Someone asked about, do I need to take these vitamins? Or you know what I think it was? They were asking if they should take the vitamin K shot to assist with the surgery that her daughter is going to have. That's literally all she asked. Like, has anyone else taken it? Is it safe? I know it's just a vitamin. I'm just asking. There were hundreds of comments basically telling the person how dumb they were. No, I'm quoting actually someone that said, how dumb are you not to get the vitamin K shot? Like, we're supposed to be parents helping each other, or people with similar experiences helping each other. And now this kind of personality that this world has gone into these private groups too. Like, no one is happy. How do we make the world a happy place again? I guess it doesn't start with a paper plate, I'll tell you that. And because it's seeping into our private pages where we were once free to ask questions and now we're no longer, I guess we just go right to doctors, nurses, and we do our own research before allowing the public to answer us. Okay, enough of that. Before I wrap this up, I want to leave you with something a little lighter, especially if you're someone who posts online and has never, you've read a comment and thought, well, that just ruined my day, or you kind of feel the anxiety coming on. Here's the thing. Posting on social media is a little like putting a snack out at a party you didn't even want to host. Like, most people will enjoy it. Some people will ignore the snack. A few will walk up to it, taste it, loudly announce, ugh, who brought this snack? I hate it. Unprovoked, right? But that doesn't mean you stop bringing snacks, because every loud, dramatic, deeply offended paper plate critic, I'll put that in quotes, there are people quietly watching, laughing, relating, and feeling seen. Okay? As a matter of fact, I had no idea that there was a certain person that listened to this podcast. And out of nowhere, she sent me a message and said, I know we haven't talked in 10 years. I just want to let you know I listen to every episode and it has helped me. It's amazing. I do not feel alone. And I feel like I needed to tell you, thank you for the amazing work. Oh my God, tears in my eyes, right? Again, you might be posting and people, unprovoked people are messing around and saying bad things to you, but you never know who else is watching or listening. So if you're posting something that's silly, real, vulnerable, or just a random moment from your day, keep going. Who cares about the negative commenters? You're not responsible for how the internet processes your content because you know what you meant. You're responsible for being you. And I guess if there's anything else that I can say is, do not take these comments personal. Do not. And there is a really neat thing called the delete and block button. So if that has to be done, do it. Thank you for joining me on this social media experiment. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday or Monday if you're listening. Talk to you next time.